Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into something pretty unique. It's a collection of thoughts from 50 different people,
hmm
and each person shared what they feel is the single most liberating thought they've ever had.
It's a really fascinating idea, isn't it? You've got this pile of really personal moments, these shifts in perspective that just brought this huge sense of freedom.
Right?
So our mission here in this deep dive is to kind of unpack what actually makes a thought liberating. We'll explore some specific examples from the list, these aha moments,
Yeah.
and hopefully understand how exploring these shared experiences might, give you a bit of a shortcut to understanding this whole area of human perspective.
And the source is quite specific about what counts as liberating. It's not just like a clever saying.
No.
It needs to be self-evident, something you know from your own experience.
Mhm.
And this is key. It doesn't always solve the problem directly,
Right.
but it helps you get why you had it, why you felt stuck.
That really makes sense. And the author says something early on that basically every conscious thought you have does one of two things.
Okay.
It either loops you back into an old pattern, maybe one that's not helping,
Uh-huh.
or it helps you break free. And this collection, it's all about those thoughts that help you break free, the liberating ones.
Okay, so how do we even arrive at these kinds of thoughts? The source suggests life kind of unfolds through these revelations.
Yeah, like you're just going about your life and then bam, something clicks. A sentence from a book,
Right,
maybe something someone said,
right.
and it suddenly connects to your own life in a new way.
And it seems there's often a link to discomfort, doesn't it? Or even suffering and growth.
Oh, absolutely. The source really emphasizes that. It claims people often don't really change until, well, not changing becomes even more uncomfortable.
Like the discomfort forces the shift.
Exactly. It's the necessary friction, you could say.
The author gets quite personal about this. They say their own success is directly tied to their suffering and their biggest liberating thought, realizing they wouldn't change a single thing from their past, not even the really dark stuff.
Because it all served a purpose.
Yeah, because it all led them to here, wherever here was for them at that point.
That's a huge reframe. It's not saying the bad stuff wasn't bad,
No.
but acknowledging its role,
Yeah.
its function in their journey. They also talk about feeling, not together, or maybe even feeling crazy in the past. And the liberating part was realizing they weren't just flawed. They were a product of their circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And crucially, that feeling of not being okay, that discomfort,
Yeah.
that was actually essential.
Essential how?
Well, the argument is if they had felt okay, if they'd been comfortable back then,
They might have just stayed stuck.
exactly. They might have just accepted a life that wasn't really theirs, maybe one imposed by others or just, expectations. The discomfort was the alarm bell.
Oh.
It let them know something was wrong, even if they couldn't quite picture what right looked like yet. That gut feeling,
Yeah, that deep sense that this isn't it, even without knowing what is.
Precisely.
So the feeling wasn't the problem, it was the signal. And these changes, these shifts, they're not usually one big lightning bolt, are they? The source says positive change comes from lots of small revolutions.
That sounds right. It's like how people grow generally. It's cumulative.
Yeah, it's rarely one giant leap, more like a series of steps, insights building on each other.
Exactly. Chipping away at the old patterns.
Which leads us nicely into this collection of 50 thoughts. These feel like those individual revolutions for different people. So let's dive in. Maybe we can group some by theme, try and get a handle on the different ways liberation shows up here.
Sounds good. One theme that definitely jumps out is an agency and control. Like taking back the reins internally.
Oh.
Choosing your internal state, your direction, instead of feeling pushed around by, external stuff or your own impulses.
Right, like thought number one, I get to choose what I think about. Seems so simple. Almost. Too simple. Why is that liberating?
Well, think about it. How much misery comes from thoughts just running wild? Worry loops, negative self-talk.
Yeah.
Feeling like you're hijacked by your own brain.
Yeah.
The liberation is realizing, wait a minute, my thoughts aren't just happening to me.
Uh-huh.
There's a part of me, my awareness, that can choose where to put my focus. It doesn't mean bad thoughts vanish,
No.
but the choice to keep feeding them or to gently shift attention.
That's freedom. It
Just
breaks
load-
that feeling of being a passive victim of your mind.
Okay, yeah, I get that. Claiming that internal space. And number 45 seems related. I'm always one choice away from changing everything. That sounds huge.
It is huge. Because when you feel stuck, it feels like
Yeah.
insurmountable, right? Like you need a miracle or years of work.
Right, a lottery win.
Yeah. But this thought, the liberating truth is, big shifts often start with one small conscious choice. A choice to see it differently. A choice to take one tiny step. A choice to respond instead of just reacting. It puts the power right back in your hands, like right now. Yeah, it shifts from feeling trapped by circumstances to feeling empowered by your own will.
Okay, another theme that seems really strong is self-worth and acceptance.
Oh, definitely. A big one.
Freedom from needing everyone else to say you're okay.
Yes. Look at number 32. You do not have to be loved by everybody to be worthy of love.
Oof. That gets right to the core of people-pleasing, doesn't it?
It really does. The old pattern is basing your value on what others think, which is shaky ground, right? You can't control them.
Impossible.
So the liberating thought is realizing your worth isn't up for debate. It's not a popularity contest. It's inherent. Realizing you're worthy now, just as you are. Wow, that frees up so much energy that was just going into chasing approval.
And number 11 feels like putting that into practice. I am a person of value. I deserve happiness. I deserve to be kind to myself. I deserve love. It's like an affirmation.
Exactly. It's stating an internal truth that nobody outside can give you and nobody outside can truly take away. Okay, another theme. Perspective and impermanence. Oh.
Understanding things change, feelings change, and the power of just being here now.
The classic, this too shall pass, which is number 22. But maybe deeper, like number 15. Nothing is permanent, not even the worst feelings.
That's so powerful. Because we often act like things are permanent, right?
Yeah.
We cling to good feelings. We fight bad ones like they'll last forever.
Yeah, when you're in pain, it feels endless.
Totally. But the liberating truth, proven just by living life, is that states are temporary. Knowing this doesn't make the pain disappear.
No.
But it changes your relationship to it. It gives hope when things are tough and maybe encourages a bit less attachment when things are good.
And the flip side of things changing is being present, like number 19. The moment is all that exists.
Yeah.
It's whether or not you're paying attention that's the problem.
Exactly. The pattern being broken there is living in the past, regrets, what ifs, or the future, anxiety, planning. The liberation is realizing life only ever happens now. Bringing your focus here, even when it's hard, frees you from those mental traps. It connects you to the only place you have any real agency.
And like number 21 says, what you focus on expands.
Right. Focus on regrets, they grow. Focus on fears, they grow. Focus on the present, even just your breath. That's where your energy goes, where potential opens up.
That connects really well to another theme, growth and purpose. Several thoughts link tough times directly to learning something important.
Yeah, like number 28, the purpose of being here is growth. Simple, but profound. And number 29, which we kind of touched on, the worst things that happened to me were the things that had to teach me.
Right. Again, not minimizing the worst things. It's a perspective shift. What's the pattern it breaks?
I think the pattern is seeing bad stuff as just random, unfair, meaningless blows, or just obstacles.
Yeah, why me?
Exactly. The liberating insight is viewing life, including the challenges, as a curriculum for growth. Realizing those hard experiences weren't just happening to you, but maybe, in a sense, for you.
For your learning.
Yeah. Containing lessons, building strength, revealing truths you needed to see. It shifts you from feeling like a victim to feeling like, well, a student of life.
That really changes how you might see your own story. Okay, then there's another cluster around your inner state, connecting to something deeper.
Right. This idea that freedom isn't really about changing the outside world, it's an inside job. Number 8, freedom is a state of mind.
Seems simple, but powerful.
It is. Because it means liberation is always possible right now, regardless of your circumstances. It's not dependent on things changing out there.
And some thoughts go even deeper, right? Like number 25, the Deepak Chopra one, never forget that you are not in the world is in you. Or number 41, I am infinite.
Oh.
Yeah, those push the boundaries. They suggest liberation comes from tapping into something bigger than your everyday self, your ego with all its fears and limits. The pattern broken is identifying only with that limited self. The liberation is connecting to this sense of vastness, maybe? Essential being, like number 43. I am made of love and light. Everything else is simply a disconnect.
So realizing your true nature is already free? Kind of, yeah. And number 26 captures that internal power too. There's always a way. That feeling of being stuck, often it's a mindset, not objective reality. This thought reminds you to look inside for the resources you already have.
It really feels like all these different paths circle back to the same place. The source of suffering and the source of freedom are both internal.
That seems to be the core message, yeah.
Beyond those main themes, there were a few others that stood out. offering slightly different angles.
Definitely. Like number 3, you can have everything you want, just not all at once.
The patience principle.
Yeah. It breaks that feeling of lack or impatience.
Yeah.
And liberates you to actually appreciate what you do have now, which ties into number 9, appreciating the present.
Okay. And number 10 was interesting. Valuing non-romantic love and accepting experiences beyond just happiness.
Yes. That breaks the pattern of thinking a good life means only romantic partner and constant joy.
Which is pretty narrow.
Right. The liberating part is seeing the richness in other connections, other experiences, and accepting that life has a full spectrum. Feeling sad or lonely doesn't mean you're failing at life.
That ties back to acceptance again, doesn't it? And then there were those couple of thoughts offering, like, cosmic perspective.
Oh yeah, number 37. Don't take anything too seriously. Nobody gets out alive anyway.
Haha, right. Or number 48. In a few hundred years, most people will be completely forgotten about. That's not depressing, that is liberating.
How is that liberating? Sounds kind of bleak.
Well, the pattern it breaks is maybe over-identifying with our dramas, our failures, taking everything so personally.
Uh-oh.
Seeing the bigger picture, the sweep of time, it can make today's crisis feel a little less all-consuming. Not that it doesn't matter, but maybe its ultimate weight isn't quite so heavy.
Got it. It puts things in perspective. So yeah, these 50 thoughts, they really paint this incredible picture of human experience, all these different ways people found freedom.
They're personal, like the source says, shared, hoping they might spark something for you, the listener.
And that's really the point of digging into this, isn't it? For you listening. Exploring these isn't just interesting. They're like windows into what liberation feels like.
And maybe how to get there.
Exactly. They might use different words, focus on different things, agency, acceptance, perspective.
But there's that common thread, right? A shift inside, a change in your relationship to what's happening.
Yeah. Not necessarily changing the circumstances themselves.
So as you've been listening, maybe some of these landed more than others. Which ones felt familiar? Which ones challenged a pattern you recognize in yourself?
Thinking about that could be your own shortcut.
Yeah, because these aren't just clever words. They're distilled wisdom from 50 real lives.
Insights forged in experience. A potential map.
So to wrap up, we've seen a liberating thought isn't necessarily about fixing things. It's more about understanding the why behind them, a truth you feel in your bones.
Proven by experience. And exploring these shared insights from others, it could be a powerful shortcut. It might just spark your own aha moment.
Yeah, maybe without having to go through the exact same struggle they did to find it.
Exactly.
So we want to leave you with one final thought from this amazing collection. Number 50, it's a quote from Cheryl Strayed, and it feels like a really fitting end note to all this.
Okay.
You're going to be okay, because okay is where we all end up, even if we fuck up entirely along the way. Something to carry with you, perhaps, as you navigate your own path and find your own liberating thoughts.